Before leaving, Nick finally stopped holding back his feelings. He sent Ella a love letter confessing everything. When the mail carrier arrived to deliver it, Greg intercepted the letter and hid it away. And so, Nick never received a reply from Ella. Once again, they missed each other. After that, Ella's life returned to quiet routine. Meanwhile, Greg, chasing excitement, soon had an affair, which Ella quickly discovered. She punched him in front of everyone and decisively kicked him out of the house. While packing his things, she accidentally discovered that hidden love letter.
You deserve someone who loves you with every beat of his heart. Someone who will always be there for you. And who will love every part of you, especially your flaws. Greg's not the man for you, Rosie. Twice I've let you slip through my fingers. Stop being afraid and take the chance. I know now I can make you happy. And if you feel the same way, love, Alex.
Realizing everything that had happened, Ella immediately opened her laptop to reach out to Nick. But fate played its cruelest joke yet.
We're getting married. The wedding's next week, and you have to be our best man.
Ella felt deeply hurt and disheartened. Maybe they were like two parallel lines, never meant to meet. No matter how close they seemed, their paths would never cross. Time kept moving. How could two people keep missing each other over and over? With her best friend's encouragement, Ella decided to fight for her own happiness. She was going to win Nick back, even if it meant showing up at his wedding, but her flight was delayed. By the time she arrived, the ceremony was over. Watching the happy newlyweds before her, Ella fell silent. Yet even so, she raised her glass and wished them well at the reception.
No matter where you are, or what you're doing, or who you're with, I will always, honestly, truly, completely love you.
Since they were never meant to walk the same path, she hoped someone else could now give Nick the care she couldn't. Time flew by. 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. Ella poured all her savings into opening a small hotel. And on its opening day, a familiar figure appeared behind her. It was Nick, the one her heart had never let go of.
Hi.
Hi.
Nick asked to book a room. Ella, curious, asked why he was traveling alone.
We both knew it wasn't right.
So your wife
Won't be joining me.
They walked upstairs together, as if all of this had been quietly arranged long ago. They missed each other deeply, yet remained gently distant. Fate had tricked them apart time and again, only to pull them back together just as often. This time, Nick finally spoke his heart. They had left deep marks in each other's soul, yet had always lingered near each other's life. If there had to be one reason for it all, love was the only answer that ever made sense. By now, Ella had lost all the pride she once held in front of Nick.
I think not telling you, so there was at least someone out there who still saw me as Rosie. And not this strange new person I've become.
Nick remained silent, then slowly opened his hand. Ella gently placed hers over his, their fingers intertwining tightly. In that moment, Ella felt a warmth she hadn't known in years. A week later, Nick had to return to college. Looking back at Ella, he felt a sudden, almost reckless urge to stay, but without the right to ask, he felt helpless. 5 years passed. Ella had grown confident at work and never missed a moment of her daughter's childhood. Whenever she had free time, she was by her daughter's side. Meanwhile, Nick had been in a relationship, but his frequent calls to Ella and her daughter made his girlfriend uneasy. After repeated arguments, she finally ended things. In his pain, Nick turned to Ella first. He invited her to visit. Overjoyed, Ella bought a ticket and flew to the U.S. without hesitation. As soon as they met, she rushed into his arms. They danced joyfully in bars, held each other in the pool, and wandered the American streets at 4 a.m., taking photos. For a while, they felt like a couple deeply in love. It seemed they were on the verge of starting something real, until one day Nick's ex-girlfriend invited them to dinner and announced she was pregnant. In that instant, Ella felt a sharp physical pain. She stood up and walked out. Nick hurried after her, but Ella, emotionally overwhelmed, turned and confronted him in a fierce, heated argument. The girl pushed open the door and saw a scene she never expected. Her sleeping mother jolted awake in panic, but the daughter asked, "Mom, why is your hand cuffed to the bed?" The mother calmly replied, "Because I was afraid the bed might get stolen."
Are you my daddy?
No, he's just a nice man that's helping Mummy out a bit, that's all.
What came next was even more awkward. The handcuff wouldn't open. The key simply wouldn't turn. The woman's name was Ella, and the story really began that summer. Ella had a childhood best friend named Nick. They'd always had feelings for each other, but neither had ever spoken them aloud. The night of Ella's 18th birthday, with alcohol lowering their guard, teenage hormones took over. Nick finally gathered the courage to kiss her, but the next moment Ella stumbled and fell. The next morning, Nick came to her room early. "Still feeling sick?" he asked gently. In his mind, that kiss had changed everything between them. But Ella had no memory of the kiss, only the fall.
Oh, I feel sick even thinking about it.
Like, which part?
All of it. It never happened.
When she said she couldn't remember much from the night, Nick thought she meant the drinking, not the kiss. Heart stung, he buried his feelings once more. Then another girl approached Nick, inviting him to be her date to the school dance. He was about to decline, until Ella deliberately provoked him, saying she'd already agreed to go with another guy. Neither dared to take that first real step. They kept dancing around the truth, testing each other's reactions. At the dance, they each went with someone else, moving through the steps without really being present, their eyes constantly drifting toward the other across the room. Then Ella saw Nick kiss the blonde girl he'd come with, and later learned he'd spent his first night with her, too. Acting like stubborn children in a game of emotional chicken, Ella, out of spite, gave her own first time to her date that same night, a choice she would regret for years to come. After seeing her childhood friend being intimate with someone else, she refused to be outdone, and decided to give her first time to a random guy. What she never expected was that one night would leave her pregnant. At first, she thought about ending the pregnancy, but for her religious parents, that was absolutely unthinkable. Ella felt utterly trapped. All she'd wanted was to get back at her childhood sweetheart for being with another girl. She never imagined it would lead to something irreversible. She didn't know how to tell him. Yet surprisingly, the very next day, her childhood friend Nick came to find her, bursting with excitement. He'd been accepted to Harvard. They had always planned to go to college in the US together, but now everything had changed. Ella forced a smile and congratulated him, lying that she hadn't gotten in and kept her pregnancy completely hidden. Blinded by his own joy, Nick didn't even notice the tears welling in her eyes. On the day he left, Ella went to see him off. Both held back what they truly felt, and all their unspoken words finally condensed into a simple, keep in touch. Watching Nick disappear into the distance, Ella couldn't hold back her tears, but in her heart, she had already decided. After the baby was born, she would place the child with a couple who couldn't conceive, then fly to the US and confess her feelings to Nick bravely. In the months that followed, Ella experienced the full weight of carrying a child, yet her face often glowed with a tender, precious smile. When her daughter was born, the uncertainty she had felt reached its peak. With her parents' unwavering support, Ella made her choice. She would raise this child herself, walking beside her through every stage of growing up. So she let go of her plans for America and embraced the responsibility of motherhood. It was hard, exhausting work, but Ella found deep joy in it. Then one day, Nick suddenly showed up at her door. Ella hurriedly hid every trace of the baby, only to realize Nick already knew. A friend had told him everything.
And all the while, your girlfriend was at home expecting a baby, and you didn't say.
Come on, Rosie, nothing happened. We were just having some fun.
That's what you got me over here for, then. Just some fun.
I wanted to see you, for Christ's sake. You're my best friend.
After Ella left, Nick punched a billboard in frustration. He desperately wanted to chase after her and confess his feelings, but his ex-girlfriend's pregnancy held him in place. Then one day, while Ella was at work, her daughter's biological father showed up. He had learned the child was his and came to take responsibility. Maybe to close things with Nick for good, maybe to give her daughter a whole family. When Greg proposed, Ella finally accepted. She invited Nick to her wedding, but he never showed. Her father sensed her hesitation and asked if she truly loved Greg. Ella smiled weakly and replied that it didn't matter who she married anymore. Married life fell into a predictable routine. When her daughter began dating her childhood sweetheart, it reminded Ella of her own past romance. She decided to call Nick, but his girlfriend answered. She told Ella that Nick had broken up with her on Ella's wedding day. The baby wasn't even his. Fate had played its cruel game. They fell for each other at the wrong time and hesitated when the timing seemed right. 5 years later, Ella's parents sold their house and set off to travel the world, leaving Ella alone to manage daily life. During their travels, her father passed away unexpectedly. At the funeral, Nick appeared again and comforted her.